Hello students, this is derivatives lecture number 2, and in this lecture again I will be explaining a small concept at the beginning, and after that we will be starting with the questions, the practical questions on derivatives, and we will try to finish the first part of derivatives, that is forwards and futures. The second part of derivatives deals with options and swaps, and the third part of derivatives is what we call as interest rate derivatives. So let us start with derivatives lecture number 2. In the last lecture, that is the first lecture of derivatives, we had mentioned something about futures contract being different from the forward contract. And we said that the difference is that in the case of a forward contract, there is no guarantee that the performance of the contract, either of the two parties may default. In futures contract, we said that there is an intermediary, that is a futures exchange, and that futures exchange will guarantee the performance of the contract by both the parties, and that is through the procedure of marking to market or mark to market. So we are going to see today first thing, what is the concept of this mark to market or marking to market, and what are the various terms which are going to come in this particular topic here. So let us see now, when we talk about mark to market, what do we actually mean? Key role of the futures exchange is to organize trading such that contract defaults are minimized or even eliminated. Buyers and sellers are required to maintain and deposit a margin on the contract, which may be 5 to 10%. That means the buyer of the contract as well as the seller of the contract will be asked to maintain a deposit with the exchange. That is the surety for the performance of the contract. How much is that deposit? That deposit is about 5 to 10% of the value of the contract. Whatever is the total value of the contract, of that 5 to 10%. And after the initial margin is deposited, that means this 5 to 10% that is there, that is called as the initial margin, initial deposit. A change in the price of the futures contract would change the percentage relationship between the margin and the contract value. At the end of each trading day, the margin account is adjusted to reflect the investor's gain or loss, because the gains or losses are netted against the initial margin, and this is called as marking to market. Now, why there will be gains and losses? There will be gains and losses because, for example, I am telling you, let us say A is buyer and B is seller. Okay, A has agreed to buy a particular commodity at 500 rupees and B has also agreed to sell at 500 rupees. That is on the first day. As they enter into the contract, they have agreed. A has agreed to buy at 500, B has agreed to sell at 500. But after a period of 1 month, so that is 1 month gap. During this 1 month period, the price of that commodity may fluctuate. Let us say on the second day, the price falls to, market price falls to 490. If the market price falls to 490, who has made a profit and who has suffered loss? A has bought at 500 and after buying at 500, market price has fallen to 490. So A has suffered a loss of 10 rupees. It's a notional loss. B has sold at 500 and after selling at 500, price has fallen to 490. So B has made a profit of 10 rupees. So A's loss of 10 rupees is gain made by B of 10 rupees. So that is why the gains and losses are netted against the initial margin. So whatever is there, initial deposit, that 10 rupees is deducted from A's deposit and added to B's deposit. For A is suffering a loss of 10 rupees. So that will be deducted from his initial margin. B has made a profit of 10 rupees, so that will be added to his initial margin. So one's loss is the other's profit. In marking to market, it is possible that the margin may become so low or even wipe out the balance or may be negative. So whatever deposit you have maintained, that will go on increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing. One fine day you may find that one person's margin has been wiped off. Suppose the price goes on falling. Okay, price goes on falling. Then A will go on suffering loss only. So A's balance will go on reducing, 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 and then it may become zero. To prevent this kind of situation, an investor is required to maintain maintenance margin. And maintenance margin is how much? It is 3/4. 3/4 means 75% of the initial margin. So initial margin, suppose it is 10,000. Then maintenance margin is 75%, 3/4, 7,500. If it is 7,500, that means as soon as the balance touches 7,500 or goes below 7,500 the first time, then there will be, if the balance in the margin account falls below the maintenance margin, the investor receives a margin call. So he will receive a margin call and he will be required to deposit additional funds. He will be asked to bring in additional funds. Suppose the balance falls to 7,000. Then he will be told your deposit from 10,000 has fallen to 7,000. Please maintain your deposit at 10,000. So he will bring in cash to the extent of 3,000 and maintain the balance again to 10,000. So he will receive a margin call and asked to deposit additional funds to bring the balance to the level of initial margin. So again we are coming back to the first balance. The extra funds deposited 3,000 is called as variation margin. So the three things that you have to know: initial margin, initial deposit, maintenance margin, below which the balance should not be allowed to fall, and when the balance falls, then the margin call that will be there for bringing in the margin variations and margins. Okay, the margin is aimed at being a bond for performance, not as a down payment. So the margin, the initial deposit that you are bringing in, it is like a surety, it is like a deposit, it is like a guarantee. Okay, it is not a down payment of the total value of the goods that you are going to purchase or sell. Fine. Now let us see how this works. I'll give you a small example is given here. And from there we will also see that problems are asked in the examination based on this marking to market. Let us take the example. Suppose an investor contacts his broker on March 2nd, the first trading day in the month of March, to buy a wheat futures contract on a certain exchange. Suppose the contract size is 100 quintals and the current futures price is 600 per quintal. 600 per quintal. So total value of the contract 600 into 100, 60,000 is the total contract value. So contract value is going to be 60,000. The initial margin is 10%. 10% of 60,000 is 6,000. Therefore, maintenance margin would be 3/4 of 6,000, that is 4,500. Okay. Now, after this is done, let us see. On the first day, the price was 600. So 600 has come here. You have deposited 6,000 margin balance. Okay. At the end of the day, the price falls to 598.2. So there is a difference of 1.8, 1 rupee 80 paise. 1.8 per quintal into 100 quintals. That comes to 180 loss. Why? Because the contract says, and the person has agreed to buy a futures contract. He has bought a contract and then the price has fallen. So he suffers a loss of 1 rupee 80 paise, 1.80. Cumulative loss is 180. 6,000 minus 180 is 5,820. Okay. March 3rd, what happens? Price comes down to 593.6. Now the price is falling by 4.6, 4 rupees 60 paise. 4 rupees 60 paise into 100 quintals. That is 460 loss again. This 460 plus 180, total loss comes to 640. 6,000 minus 640 comes to 5,360. Okay. Fourth day, again it is 594. Increases by 40 paise. 40 paise into 100 quintals will give you 40 profit now. It has increased, no? From year to year it is increased. So profit of 40. From 640 loss, profit of 40, to 640 minus 40, 600 net loss. 6000 minus 600 will give you 5400. Correct? Then it comes down to 589.5. Still the balance is not gone below 4500. 589.5. That means there is a decrease by 4 rupees 50 paise from here to here. 4 rupees 50 paise into 100, that gives me 450 loss. 450 plus 600 gives me 1050 loss. 6000 minus 1050 gives me 4950 as a balance. Still I am above 4500. Okay. So all these transactions you have understood. So now let us come to the next one. What is the next one? Next one is that we have come down to 584. Again it has fallen by 4 rupees 70 paise. 4 rupees 70 paise into 100, that gives me a loss of 470. 1050 plus 470 will give me 1520. And 6000 minus 1520 will give me 4480. Now this is below 4500. So you will receive a margin call. Margin call for how much? To bring the balance back to 6000. How much will you require? You require 1520. That means the entire loss you have to bring in. To make the balance again to 4480 plus 1520 will bring the balance back to 6000. And this process continues till the last day. So whenever the balance falls below 4500, you will be receiving a margin call, and again your balance will be brought back to 6000. Correct? So this is what I wanted to explain to you, marking to market. Why margins are collected? The futures exchange acts as a counterparty to every transaction. It is a buyer to every seller and a seller to every buyer. Because buyer has to buy from the exchange, the exchange becomes a seller. Seller has to sell to the exchange, the seller has to sell to the exchange, so exchange becomes a buyer. So it is a buyer to every seller and seller to every buyer. Thus, if any party who loses fails to pay up, the exchange is legally bound to effect payments to the party which has made profits. To ensure that it can meet these commitments, the exchange levies margins on players. Okay? So this is why I wanted to explain this point to you. Any difficulty for this? All this I have explained to you. The remaining things you can read. Okay, now let us come to this. Hedging. Hedging with futures contract. We know what is the meaning of hedging, isn't it? We know the meaning of hedging. Hedging means that we are trying to cover the risk of loss. Now here we are trying to cover the risk of loss through a futures contract. There are basically two types of markets. I told you yesterday we had done it when we were doing the rules. The spot market, also called as a cash market, and the derivatives market. So whatever you do in the spot market or in the cash market, the opposite of that is done in the derivatives market. So I say that whenever we are doing any transaction, in the spot market, the opposite of that has to be done in the derivatives market, so that we hedge. That is the hedging activity. It is any activity which reduces the price risk of a position taken in the cash market. Okay? Sell futures. If you have taken a long position means if you have bought. When you buy, you say it is a long position. When you sell, we call it as a short position. Sell futures if you have taken long position, buy in the cash market. Buy futures if you have taken a short position, if you have sold in the cash market. That is what I said yesterday in the last lecture. That if you have bought in the cash market, then sell in the forward market, in the derivatives market. If you have sold in the spot market, then buy in the derivatives market. So that is what is the main part of the theory here. Now, how to do this actually? I'll tell you the way in which we do it. Let us say that in the cash market I have bought shares worth rupees 500. So 500 is the amount to be now hedged in the derivative market. So when I go to the derivative market, I find that each contract, one contract, is of 100 rupees. One contract is of 100 rupees. So to hedge this 500 rupees, how many contracts I should buy? I should buy 5 contracts. Because each contract is of 100. So 5 contracts I have to buy of 100 rupees each, so that I will be hedging this 500. But suppose we do not know as to in what ratio we are supposed to hedge it. Then we can calculate number of futures contract to buy. You have this formula over here, hedge ratio into rupee value of spot position requiring hedging divided by rupee value underlying one futures contract. Okay. Now this is called as cross hedging. But suppose now there is something called as imperfect hedging. Perfect hedging, imperfect hedging. Perfect hedging means that exactly, see now what has happened is 500 rupees I had to, this is in the cash market, in the spot market. So this was, I had bought shares in the spot market. I had to do the hedging of this 500 in the derivative market. So I got exactly 5 contracts of 100 rupees each, which will give me 500 rupees. Total amount is hedged. So that is a perfect hedge. That is a perfect hedge. But when you are not, that means your market position is completely 100% taken care of. But sometimes it so happens that it is not possible. Because suppose we have to hedge something like, let us say, that instead of the amount being 500, it is 550. But each contract is of 100 rupees. So I cannot say I will buy 500 contracts, 5 contracts. I cannot say I will buy 6 contracts. So then I have to calculate with the help of this formula. Imperfect hedge, if it is there, then I have to calculate by the formula. Hedge ratio into rupee value. Hedge ratio is normally given to you. That is nothing but the beta. Hedge ratio is nothing but the beta of this one. Okay, so these are the things that I want you to learn before we actually start with the problems. Any difficulty? Shall we come to the classwork? Okay. Let us take the first question, page 140. First question. Current Nifty is 1800. That means Nifty is at 1800. Minimum lot size is 100 rupees. Okay, minimum lot size is 100 rupees. Is 100. That means each contract is made up of 100. Now, risk-free rate is 8%. That is R is equal to 8%, 0.08. Futures period is 3 months. That is T is equal to 3 by 12. Find the value of 3 months Nifty futures. Problem is similar to the example we had done in the first lecture. It's a stock where there is no returns coming from that particular stock. Okay, there is no returns. So it is the first formula that we are going to have. What is the first formula? F is equal to S into E raised to RT. Spot is 1800. R is 0.08. T is 3 by 12. Okay, so now let us see how to solve this particular question. So let us see how to solve. Nifty is not going to give us any returns. So write down. Since there is no return from the given asset, the futures value is calculated as follows. The futures value is calculated as follows. F is equal to S into E raised to RT. Spot rate Nifty is at 1800. R is 8%, 0.08 into 3 by 12. So you get e raised to 0.02. Go back to your e-value tables, keep that handy, fold that page, go to your e-value tables, find out the value of e raised to 0.02. So go to that 0.02 column, positive index, you'll get 1.0202. Okay, 1.02020. Into 1800 you multiply. So you'll get approximately 1836. So that is value of 3 months futures contract is 1836. 1836. Okay, let us go for the second question now. Question number 2. A share is selling at 900 rupees. Spot rate. S is equal to 900. Dividend of 40 is expected after 6 months and after 12 months. Risk-free rate R is equal to 9%, 12 months futures price. Twice you are receiving dividend. So since you are receiving dividend, now formula is F is equal to S minus I into E raised to RT. So write down. In this case there is a known dividend. In this case there is a known dividend of rupees 40. Of rupees 40. But receivable after 6 months and 12 months. Receivable after 6 months and 12 months. So first I have to write down this formula. F is equal to S minus I into E raised to RT. And first I have to calculate this value of I. So write down. Therefore, first we calculate the present value. First we calculate the present value of the dividend I. Of the dividend I. So I is equal to first 40, which is going to be received after 6 months, into E raised to minus RT. If E is raised to RT, then it is compounding. If it is E raised to minus RT, it is discounting, present value. So minus RT, remember this, minus sign. We are calculating present value. Plus second 40, receivable after 12 months, again raised to E raised to minus RT. Substitute 9% minus 0.09 into 6 by 12 plus 40 into E raised to minus 0.09. So on solving you get 40 into E raised to minus 0.045 plus 40 into minus 0.09. Now this value I can easily get from the e-value table. But now this has got 3 decimals. So I'll have to remove the log of this. Okay. So we'll take this separately, solve it and then substitute back. So I say let x is equal to e raised to minus 0.045. So log x is equal to log of e raised to minus 0.045. Bring the index down as a multiple into log e. Now log e value I have told you in the last lecture, it is 0.4343. Always. So substitute, you will get a minus 0.0195. Anti-log of a minus number cannot be calculated. So what we do is there is a small step involved here and that step is important. Mark this step is important. Step is important. What we do is we add 1 and subtract 1. We add 1 and subtract 1. minus 0.0195. Then we group this together, and minus 1 we take it as bar 1. Minus 1 we will take it as bar 1. Okay, 1 minus 0.0195. So actually it is, if I go to write this, it will be antilog of bar 1.0, sorry, bar 1.9805. So now I'll find the antilog of 0.9805. Go to your antilog table. Antilog table. Go to 0.98, 0th column, 5th mean difference. So that comes to 0.9561. Now since it is minus 1, character is minus 1. So minus 1 plus 1 will be 0. That means decimal will remain as it is before the number. It will not be shifting to the right. So x is equal to 0.9561. X is equal to 0.9561. So I substitute that here. 40 into 0.9561 plus 40 into value of this is available in the e-value table, 0.9139. Multiply. So I value we have got 74.8. So in this we have got the value of I. Spot rate is known to us, remaining things are known to us. Substitute now. 12 months futures is given by F is equal to S minus I into e raised to RT. I value we have calculated, e raised to 0.09. 825 into e raised to 0.09. Go to the e value table. Value of e raised to 0.09. 1.0942. Are you getting 1.0942? So that comes to 902.93. 902.93. Okay, so that is how we solve the question. So we have solved one by the first method, one by the second method. Now let us see the third method now. Take question number 3. Question 3. The stock index is currently 350 and the risk-free interest rate is 8%. So 8% is R. Spot price S is 350. Find out the futures price for a 4 months contract. 4 by 12. 2%. This is Q. Rate of dividend is given. So formula now is the third formula. Okay. Dividend yield is given 2%. Right now. In this case, a dividend yield of 2% is expected. Therefore, futures value is calculated as follows. Futures value is calculated as follows. F is equal to S into e raised to R minus Q into T. Substitute now. R is 0.08, 8%. Q is the dividend yield 2%, 0.02. T is 4 by 12. So 0.06 into 4 by 12. 4 by 12 is 1 by 3. 0.06 by 3 will give you 0.02. Go to the E-value table. E-value table. Value of that 1.0202. 1.0202. Multiply 357.07. So you can write it, therefore, value of 4 months, futures contract is rupees 357.07. Okay, let us come to question 4. Question 4. Now question 4 is a question on mark to market. I told you that it will come in the examination. So this type of question comes. On 6th of July, Mr. Shahrukh buys 5 contracts of December Reliance futures at 840. Each contract covers 50 shares. Initial margin is set at 2,400 per contract. Maintenance margin was fixed at 2,000 per contract. Daily settlement prices are given to you. Mr. Shahrukh meets all the margin calls. Whenever he is allowed to withdraw money from the account, he withdraws 50% of the profit. Compute for each day margin call, profit or loss on the contract, balance in the account at the end of each day. Mr. Salman sells the same 5 contracts on the same terms. That means he can also withdraw 50% of the profit. Show how Salman's account will be affected and prove that the futures are zero-sum games. This statement is important. What do you mean by this? It means that exchange is not going to get anything. Whatever is the profit of one is the loss of the other. So whatever is deducted from one's account will be added to the other's account. So exchange is not getting anything. So that is why it is called as a futures is a zero-sum game. Whatever is the total loss of one will be the total profit of the other. Okay? So this we have to see now. Very important. Let us see how to do this. Pay attention. First what I will do is, I will prepare a statement like this. Shahrukh long 5, Salman short 5, details amount. Now long means what? That he has bought. Short means what? That he has sold. July 6th, we start with. Initial margin is being deposited. Okay? Initial margin being deposited. If you go to the question, what they have said is that initial margin of the two is fixed at 2,400 per contract. Correct now? 2,400 per contract. So how many contracts are there? 5 contracts are there. So 2,400 into 5, that will give me 12,000 rupees. Both of them have maintained the same deposit, so both of them will have same calculations. So initial margin 2,400 into 5. Salman 2,400 into 5. Both have maintained 12,000 deposit. Correct? At the end of the day, the price falls to 818. Initially it was 840. Now price has fallen. So who will make loss? Shahrukh or Salman? The person who was bought will make loss, because after buying the price has fallen. Okay? So Shahrukh suffers a loss, Salman makes a profit. What is the loss? 5 contracts. Look at this now. 5 contracts. Difference between the price and into 50 shares per contract. There are 50 shares per contract. So that comes to 5,500 loss. Same way for Salman, it is a profit 840 minus 880 into 5 contracts, where each share is of 50 rupees each. There are 50 shares, sorry. So that also will be 5,500, but profit. Balance before margin call. 12,000 minus 5,500, 6,500. For Salman, it is balance before withdrawal because he is having surplus now. Salman is having surplus. Surplus means what? More than the balance, more than the initial margin. So balance before withdrawal 17,500. Now, since the amount of Shah Rukh has fallen below the maintenance margin, how much is maintenance margin? 2,000 per contract. How many contracts? 5 contracts. 2,000 into 5 is 10,000. It has fallen below 10,000. So Shah Rukh will bring in cash to make his amount again 12,000. So that means how much cash he will bring in? He will bring in 5,500. How much profit can Salman withdraw? As per the rules, either of them can withdraw profits to the extent of 50%. What is the profit? 5,500. 5,500. Over and above 12,000. 5,500. 50% of 5,500. 2,750. So the end of 6th of July, at the end of the day, closing balance, Shah Rukh will come back to his original figure of 12,000. Salman will have 14,750 because of the total profits, part he has withdrawn, part is still there. Next day, 7th of July. Opening balance I bring down first. You continue on the same page. Opening balance is 12,000 and 14,750. Price is 866. Price has increased. So now Shah Rukh will make a profit, Salman will suffer a loss. 866 minus the previous day's price, 818. 866 minus 818 into 50 shares per contract, into 5 contracts. Into 5 contracts. Same calculation for Salman, but now it is a loss for him. So 12,000 loss. Now Shah Rukh can withdraw because he is having profit. So balance before withdrawal. Salman will have to bring in cash to balance before margin call. Balance before margin call. Shah Rukh will withdraw half of 12,000, 6,000. Salman will bring, because Salman's balance also has gone below 10,000. Salman will bring in cash to make his amount 12,000. So how much he will bring? 9,250. To make it 12,000, he has to bring in now 9,250. Closing balance for 7th of July. 24 minus 6, 18,000. Salman will come back to the initial margin of 12,000. Next date, 8th of July. Bring down the opening balance, 18,000 and 12,000. Price is 830. Previous year price was 866. So the price increases. What has happened? Price has increased or decreased? Decreased. From 866 it has fallen to 830. Whenever the price falls, buyer will suffer a loss. Shah Rukh will suffer a loss. 830 minus 866 into 5 into 50. $18 minus 9, 9,000. That means now Shah Rukh has to bring in balance. To balance before margin call. 12 plus 9, 21. Salman has got a profit, so it is balance before withdrawal. Shahrukh will bring in how much to make his balance 12,000? Shahrukh is short of 12,000 by 3,000. So he will bring in margin call 3,000. What is the profit of Salman? 9,000. Over and above the initial margin, 9,000. Out of 9,000 he can withdraw 50%. So 4,500. Closing balance 12,000 and 16,500. Last date 9th of July. Price is now 846. Bring down the opening balance first. $846. Previous day it was 830. It has increased. If it has increased, then buyer makes a profit. 846 minus 830. Seller suffers a loss, 4,000. 12 plus 4, 16,000. So it is balance before withdrawal. He is going to withdraw 50% profit. Salman, 16,500 minus 4,000. 12,500. Over and above initial margin by 500. So he also has got a profit. He can also withdraw 50% of the profit. So balance before withdrawal 16,000 and 12,500. Here in excess of 12,000, how much is having? 4,000. So 50% of 4,000 he can withdraw. 50% of 4,000 he can withdraw. That is 2,000. Here in excess of 12,000, how much is having? 500. So 50% of 500 he can withdraw. Okay. At the end of the day, you can find that Shahrukh is making more profit as compared to Salman. So Shahrukh must be having some gain. Let us see what is the total amount of gain that Shahrukh has got. It's not 2,000. You see, there is a formula for that. You think 12,000, 14,000 minus 2,000, it is a formula. That is a total profit. No. Let us see what is the profit of Shahrukh and let us see whatever is the profit of Shahrukh has to be the loss of Salman. So right now, Shahrukh's gain is equal to formula closing balance minus initial margin minus margin call paid plus profit withdrawal. Okay. Closing balance is 14,000, initial margin 12,000. Margin call paid, he has paid twice, 3,000 and 5,500. Twice he has paid. Profit withdrawn, he has withdrawn twice, 2,000 and 6,000. So net figure is 1,500 profit. Now if Salman has made a profit of 1,500, we have to prove that it is a zero-sum game. That means Salman's profit is equal, Shahrukh's profit is equal to Salman's loss. If Shahrukh has made a profit of 1,500, then Salman should have suffered a loss of 1,500. Same formula. Closing balance of Salman is 12,250. Initial margin 12,000. Margin call paid, he has paid only once. That is 9,250. And he has withdrawn 3 times. 250, 4,500, 2,750. 3 profits are withdrawn by Salman, and once he has paid the margin call, you should be getting 1500, right? Let us go to question number 5. Question number 5 says, shares of Sandeep Limited are being quoted at 600 rupees. So 600 rupees is your spot price. 3 months futures contract rate is 636. That is actual fair price, actual futures price, for a lot size of 500 shares. This Sandeep Limited is not expected to distribute any dividend, so no returns. Risk-free rate of return R is equal to 9%. What is a recommended course of action for a trader in shares? And if the 3 months futures contract is 600 rupees, what should be the action? Okay, so if you go to see, the calculation will be done as, I'll write this statement first. Since there is no return from the given asset, the futures value is calculated as follows. The futures value is calculated as follows. F is equal to S into E raised to RT. Substitute. R is 9%, 0.09. T is 3 months, 3 by 12. So you'll get this as 0.0225. It's not, the index is not up to 2 decimals, so we have to take log. So at the side I'll give the working. Let x equal to e raised to 0.0225. Take the log of both sides. Bring down the index as multiple. Substitute the value of log e, that is 0.4343. Multiply, you will get 0.0098. So x is equal to 0.0098. Go to the anti-log table. Get the value of anti-log 0.0098. That comes to 1.023. Substitute. You get 613.8. So the value is 600, then what do we do? If the value is 600, then futures is undervalued. Then AFP is less than FFP. Undervalued means buy the futures. Undervalued means buy the futures. So buy the futures, sell in the spot market. Buy the futures, sell in the spot market. Let us come to question number 6. The following data relates to DCB Limited shares prices. Current market price is 170 per share, spot rate. Price per share is given in the futures market. 6 months 190. It is possible to borrow money in the market for securities transactions. Possible to borrow money in the market for securities transaction at the rate of 12% per annum. Calculate the theoretical minimum price of a 6 month futures contract. Explain if any arbitraging opportunities exist. What do we write here? We write here, first of all, the calculation of futures value over here, theoretical futures price, is slightly different. We will not be using any of those three formulas because the rate of risk-free rate is not given. Have you noticed? Earlier problem, they had given the risk-free rate of return. Every time they give you risk-free rate of return or compounded, continuously compounded risk-free rate of return. This is not mentioned here. So formula takes a change. So write down. Let us see what is the new formula. Theoretical futures price is calculated as follows. How to calculate? Spot rate plus cost of carry. Cost of carry means the interest that is going to be there, the carrying cost. Carrying cost. If you are investing in something, then there will be a loss of opportunity cost. So that carrying cost minus the dividend income, if any. Spot plus cost of carry minus the dividend, if any. Okay. 170 plus 170 into 12% into 6 by 12. Dividend is not given in the question, so nil. So 170 plus 10.2. So futures value is 180.2. Theoretical futures price is 180.2. What is the actual futures price given? 190. Actual futures price is 190. They have asked for, does arbitrage opportunity exist? Yes, because the actual futures price is not equal to theoretical futures price. So there is a possibility of arbitrage. So since the AFP is not equal to FFP, there is possibility of arbitrage. What is the situation? AFP is greater than FFP. So it is overvalued. Overvalued means I will sell futures, buy in the spot market. Buy in the spot market, sell futures. Now, how this actually works out and what is going to be the profit? Arbitrage profit. You are not supposed to show because they have not asked. They have asked only if the opportunity exists. We say yes. Now suppose they ask us, I am just giving you the idea as to if suppose they ask us to find out what is the profit and how to calculate the profit. Then what I do is I write profit profile, spot market. To buy the share, I will have to borrow 170 rupees because I don't have cash with me. Okay, to buy the share, I will be borrowing 170 rupees. I will pay interest at the rate of 12% for 6 months. So 10.2, that means total outflow of cash is going to be 180.2. Against that, what am I going to get? I will be selling the futures at 190, so there will be a cash inflow. Correct? If dividend is there, then that will also taken into consideration, but dividend is not there. So cash inflow is 190, cash outflow is 180.2. So that means there is a difference of 9 rupees 80 paise, which is my profit or the net cash inflow. So in case they ask you what is the amount of profit, then you can calculate this and show it to them. Okay? Whatever is the cash outflow, whatever is the cash inflow, from the cash inflow minus the cash outflow, you will get your net profit or loss. Question number 7. Now question number 7 is a question on commodity futures. It is not on shares, it is commodity futures. Commodity futures, the formula is going to be slightly different. Because commodity like gold has to be stored. So storage cost will be there. It's precious, so insurance will be there. So insurance cost will come. So commodities sometimes require cold storage facilities. So for cold storage facilities, you will have to incur higher rent. Goods have to be stored at a particular temperature. So the cost is involved, storage cost is involved. Plus handling cost is there, loading, unloading, that will be there. Which is not there in the case of shares. Correct? So in commodity futures, the prices, the formula is going to be slightly different. Let us read it. Current price of gold is 9,000 rupees, spot price, 9,000 per 10 grams. 9,000 per 10 grams. The storage costs are 55 rupees per kg per week payable in advance. That means payable at the beginning. Also, there involves a fixed charge of 310 rupees per deposit up to 500 kgs payable in arrears towards the end. Okay. Assuming that interest rates are 10% per annum with continuous compounding. So e raised to something. Calculate 3 months or 13 weeks futures price of 1 kg of gold. 1 kg is equal to 1000 grams. For 10 grams they have given 9000. So for 1000 grams, for 1 kilo, it is going to be 9 lakhs. So let us write down. First we will see what is the formula for this. Commodity futures is valued as follows. Commodity futures is valued as follows. F is equal to spot price plus present value of storage cost. Present value of storage cost plus any other cost into e raised to RT. Because you are calculating the futures now. You have to compounding factor. Compounding factor is e raised to RT. Discounting factor is e raised to minus RT. So we are calculating all the future value of this. What is spot price? 9,000 per 10 grams. So per kilo it is 9 lakhs. Okay. Present value of storage 55 into 13. Present value of storage 55 into 13. 13 weeks. 55 per week. Present value of fixed charge. You have to discount. So 310 into e raised to minus 0.1 into 0.25, 3 by 4, 3 by 12, 3 months. So this will get us e raised to minus 0.025. Again we take the logs, evaluate. You have to do the log work calculation now on your own. I am not going to help you. I have shown the calculations, I have shown the working in one problem. So you will take the log of e raised to minus 0.025. If not, they will be giving it to you in the question, so you directly have to substitute. So that comes to 0.9752. Multiply, you will get 302.31. Put all of those things in the formula. Okay. Now here this is minus. Note that this is minus. And this is plus, future value. This is present value calculation. So on evaluation I get this. E raised to 0.1025. E raised to 0.025 is equal to 1.025. Multiply, you will get this value. You can round up the figures. Okay, so that is commodity futures. Question 8, same thing. Current price of 455 is given per 10 kgs. Storage cost 30 rupees per week per metric ton. 1 metric ton is 1000 kgs. Payable in arrears. Also there involves a fixed charge of 110 per deposit up to 1000 kgs payable in advance. Assuming interest rates are 10% per annum with continuous compounding, calculate 3 months, that is 13 weeks futures price of 1000 kg of soya oil. Same format. So write down first. Commodities futures is valued as follows. Formula. Spot price plus present value of storage cost plus any other cost into E raised to RT. Spot price 455 per 10 kgs. So for a metric ton, 1000 kgs to multiply by 100, 45,500. Present value of storage 30 into 13 into E raised to minus 0.025, because I am calculating present value, the minus sign comes. Taking the log, I will get the value 0.9752. Present value of storage 380.33. Present value of fixed charge given to us. Payable in advance means it's a present value. In arrears means I have to calculate the present value. In arrears means at the end. So I have to calculate present value. In advance means it is already at the beginning. So I don't have to calculate present value of that. It is already the present value. Substitute. Now it is E raised to positive 0.025. $1.025. That's your final answer. 47,140.09. Okay. Question number 9. Calculate the price of 3 months Reliance futures. If RIL quotes rupees 520 on the NSE and the 3 months futures price quotes at 530, 1 month borrowing rate is given 8%, and the expected annual dividend yield is nil per annum, payable before expiry. I think it is the same question, you can do it. You try the question. So I think now first part of derivatives we can literally conclude here, because the reason is because all the questions, all the different types of questions are covered. You can try these questions, try to get the answer. If not, you can come to me. Now second part of derivatives is going to be very difficult, in the sense that there are lot of complications, lot of theories, lot of strategies. As we are doing strategic financial management, your actual strategy comes here. We have gone options and option strategies. For me it is very interesting. For you also it will be very interesting. But if you don't pay attention to the lectures and if you take it lightly, you will find it very difficult. So I am requesting you that for the next session that you are going to come for, that you are going to sit for, see that you are thorough with all your earlier concepts. Mind is absolutely completely free, because I am going to teach you something very beautiful, very interesting, and if you don't pay attention, it will be very difficult. But if you pay attention, it will be very simple, it will be interesting. Okay? So till the next lecture, stay at home, stay safe. God bless you. Thank you.